So all this thing was yeah, all this was inculcated right when in the childhood. So that stayed. Okay, okay. So that was family, and added to it was friend, very special ones. So friends बहुत special होते हैं, लेकिन I would like to mention just one name. Arushi was very close to my heart. जो आज तक नहीं मालूम कि क्या bond था हम लोग का. Even without saying, we could understand each other. And Swami को लेके ये bond था. We both used to enjoy talking about Swami. We both used to like एक दूसरे को भी used to help going closer to Swami. तो ये सब भी बहुत birth के बाद, you get, this is all blessing. This is divine blessing, very special blessing. जिसकी वजह से you got all this. Then उसके बाद most important is Bal Vikas. So I was, it is almost, I think so, 25-30 years that I have been into it, Bal Vikas. Anand Sharma is here. He was my, I think so, Bal Vikas student when I was in 10th. There were no Bal Vikas gurus. And my father said, see, I have taught you all the slokas and everything, stories I used. So you start this. So encouraging family, इसलिए पहले बोला, उसके बाद encourage किया. लगातार, before telling your students, you have to be honest to yourself. So first you have to practice what you are telling. I remember, asking children to do Gayatri mantra before, when they are taking bath. Okay. For telling this, for just asking them to do, first I practiced, got into this habit, then I had that much confidence, so I could tell them. And that honesty was there. तो उन लोग को बताया, तो उन लोग कर पाए. मैं अपने तरफ से honestly बता. So this Balvika's guru होने का ये बहुत help किया. Even going to Puttaparthi, being close, having close darshan, संभाषण, ये स्वामी के, this Balvika's is another big blessing. उसके बाद मैं troubles को भी blessing मानती हूँ. The troubles that we face in our lives, because it is the troubles which keep us grounded. और उससे भी ज़्यादा it gets you closer to Swami or God, whomever you believe in. And because every time as a best friend means the best friend whom you can talk to anytime, anywhere. ये सब सिद्धार्थ की मदर जो बताई थी, मतलब वो सारा कवर हो जाता है. So उनके लिए कोई ऐसा मेरे को appointment, he is always there. You have to remember him. And once you place that, you feel that you're placing the load on him. कि मेरा देखो ना ऐसा है problem, ऐसा आप क्यों किया, ये क्या, मतलब जो भी मन है दिल, you are very light-hearted after that. So I feel the troubles जो कुंती जी ने भी बोला था कि that's right. तो ये troubles I feel big blessing also at times. ऐसा नहीं है कि स्वामी ये blessing से बरसाते रहे, but जरूर हम लोग को grounded रखता है, closer to Swami ले जाता है. The faith also strengthens with that. That is what I felt. Then उसके बाद तो हम लोग का head office Puttaparthi to recharge our batteries. That is a big blessing. Whenever you are tired, fatigue. अभी भी मैं सोच रही थी, एक हफ्ता से हॉस्पिटल दौड़ रही हूँ, स्वामी आपके पास वहां पे जाके ऐसे बैठ जाऊं और फिर लाइक you start feeling that way. तो कितना वो घर जैसा है हमारे लिए. And you feel when you go there, you'll revive, you'll recharge, you will come back. तो ये जो feeling है, that comes, that is a big blessing. That is Puttaparthi. Then prayers as tool is also that we know that prayers can be used anywhere, anywhere. So prayers अपने में बहुत बड़ी चीज है कि मुझे आता है कि भगवान ने सिखाया हुआ है. Like बालिका का student थी, तब से मैं समझी हूँ कि what are prayers and all that. So these are all that I could jot. उससे ज़्यादा तो I haven't written, Ashu. But these are the blessings that I'm very grateful to Swami for that. And this will remain with me through my life.
Such a inspiring list. आपने अलग-अलग facets cover किए. The fact that हम लोग एक broadly सोचते हैं कभी-कभी, but you had the time and the vision to go deeper into some of these aspects, and I think, like, I can see it in your face, I can see some of us here, even I'm personally feeling like the more you talk about this, you feel good. The more you remember these things, you feel grateful. And I think I don't know how many of us have read that book, The Secret. It's again a very popular book, but in that also they say about gratitude and just any feeling. The more you think, the more you attract. So the more you'll be grateful for things, you will attract things which you'll end up being more grateful for. So
It's endless, of course, it's endless. Blessings are endless. सब कुछ तो blessing ही है. I'm sitting here
correct,
talking to, attending
correct,
this class is also a blessing. तुम लोग
correct.
को सुन रही हूँ.
To be able to recognize things as blessings is I think is a blessing in itself. But anyway, I'll stop talking. But yeah, Siddharth.
I think very well mentioned. In fact, the list of blessings are the higher the number of blessings in your list, the better it is always. And because that's how the gratitude or realization comes at how much Bhagavan has blessed us with. So it was very well articulated, good, well thought out. I think all these aspects are very, very important in our life. And anyway, before we spill the beans more, it is who wants to go next?
I'll go next.
Okay, sure, go ahead.
The first blessing is in my life for my 4 beautiful human beings in my life, my husband and my 3 children. They have been very good human beings, and my husband put me on the path of spirituality, so I'm always grateful to him. मैं बहुत व्यवहारिक थी, you know, I was not, I never used to say prayers also. So that's a big blessing for me that he put me into this, you know, he was interested in all this. And then, and then I'm very blessed with good health. And because not only good health physically, mentally. So because of that, I can study. I can do so many online classes. I read books and I enjoy. And when I do all that, I can discuss with people, and that is a big blessing for me. And the third one is that I have lots. I live alone, huh? But I have lots of courage and strength. मैं कहीं भी that's a big blessing, and I always, when I leave home, when I am at home, I thank Baba always. That's a big blessing. I can go out alone for holidays. I can go to any place, and मतलब कि मैं confidently चली जाती हूँ. So that is a great for courage and the strength. I'm very blessed for that. And then I have, of course, Baba ki teaching se seek ke, I'm very aware that मेरी life में joy and love रहो. In my heart, I actually have joy and love in my heart. मतलब कि थोड़ा सा कभी-कभी circumstances bring you down, but then you know I'm aware that this joy and love has to be maintained, and I keep मतलब कि फिर वापस jump कर लेती हूँ. And then there is this, I'm very grateful for the comfortable living that I have. I live very comfortably. It's all, that was also some miracles that Baba had done. He had already told me earlier also that you will always be comfortable. और एक blessings बहुत है कि I always have very supportive friends and family. मतलब कि ये ग्रुप में भी मिसेस बनातवाला लेके आई. She's saying you must come into this group. So चाहे मैंने बॉम्बे छोड़ दिया हुआ है, I stayed 40 years in Bombay, छोड़ दिया, but I'm in Delhi. But see the supportive friends who bring us back into the group, which is so informative and so much learning. I have learned so much. I call up Siddharth for little things and to clarify my things also. And then, of course, there is the greatest blessing is Swami came into my life. And with Swami coming into my life, my son is also a science student. My daughter-in-law also is a science student. And and my own house, sometimes I don't need to feel like going to Prashanti or Nilayam, because my own house is a Prashanti. My son-in-law comes, he stays nearby. He comes, he says, "आपका घर तो आश्रम है," वैसे ही feeling आती है. So I'm very, very grateful for all these things. Thank you very much.
I think it's very, very heartening to see. I was waiting for that point when you said that my greatest blessings is Swami in my life, because there are so many, so many episodes which Swami has mentioned in the past where he has given something to boys and then everybody is so happy. And then Swami said, everybody wants things from me, but nobody wants me. So I just recollected that experience when you said this, that having Bhagwan in our lives is one of the biggest blessings that we have got. Very nice. Thank you. And glad to know that you have got, alumni or Sai students in your house. That's
I do. Not here. They live abroad.
okay.
But yeah, thanks for sharing, Andy. I think आपका breadth of blessings जो आपने cover किया, it's so again very inspiring. Different facets of life you covered. So thanks for putting in thought in that and sharing with us.
Okay. Number 3. It sounds like a school. So for a change, it's good to be going back to the school.
You sound like a teacher, Siddharth.
Teacher is a big thing. I think maybe class monitor, maybe shade better than that.
I know.
So I'm checking the homework, who has done, who has not done. So and class monitor is a smart guy always. He copy pastes whatever you said. I'll make a list and then say I've done my homework. Anyway, so who wants to go next?
We have about 11 people. 2 down, 2 wickets down.
2 wickets down, yes.
Ushanti, when you started speaking about Siddharth Monta, I thought you were going to share your list.
Honestly, Ashu, I didn't think, of course, there are blessings and blessings and blessings, but my son-in-law had come, so I was so busy, I was thinking I'd jot down, but then every time they are speaking about their blessing, I'm saying, ye bhi. So I'll enjoy, hearing. Jab
Yeah,
मेरे को बीच में कुछ ख्याल आएगा, I'll talk about it. I haven't jotted it down.
Yeah, let's do that. I mean, based on this, whoever got time to think and make a list, let's try and have those people share. Or uske baad, based on what people have shared, if there's something which you think was not covered, या फिर if you would like to share, even if it was covered, a slightly different variation in your life, then we can do that piece, right? But
Can
yeah,
I
if
tell you
anybody...
suddenly, while talking to you, I thought of something.
Yeah, please go ahead.
COVID has been the biggest blessing in my life. Not because this period has given me the most time to myself. Okay, I'll put on my video, otherwise people won't know who I am. So this time of my life has been the most going inward time for me. It has been rough. I lost my father. He was a Alzheimer's patient. There were a lot of problems. But I feel what I have gained in these 2 years spiritually has been, it's like the essence of everything.
दीदी सिखा दिया जो सिखाना था, अब हो गया.
बहुत मतलब इतनी चीजें अपने अंदर जाना सिखाया more. ये जो बाहर घूमते थे हम लोग ज्यादा, because we used to go searching for peace and happiness outside, even if it means going for a bhajan, going here, going there. But now we don't feel that dependence anymore. That's what I have felt.
ये हर घर को मंदिर बना दिया.
Yes, definitely. मन ही नहीं करता है अभी. Content है. दुख तो आ रहे हैं, जा रहे हैं, आ रहे हैं, but it is a kind of feeling more complete. Thank you, Sarah.
Well said, Auntie. So I think, COVID has been blessings for many. I know, unfortunately, as humanity, we paid a heavy price for it. But somehow it, a lot of us have got the benefit of being at home. And I think Pratibha Auntie, spoke very beautifully on this point that each of our homes has become Prashantilaya. I don't know how many of you, all of you would have experienced Bhagwan at home in this 2 years. So Swami said, if you can't come to Parthi, I can come to your home and stay with you.
Definitely. Much more, I think, than ever before. Yeah.
Great point. Okay, who else? We got a few more people joined. So anybody wants to go next?
Yeah, for those who joined late, we're basically discussing about blessings in life. And if there is a list, if we have prepared great before the meeting, or if there's a list in our head, that is also fine. Doesn't need to be on paper. So we're trying to do that. But anybody wants to share next?
At the risk of being class teacher, if nobody comes, then we'll have to call out names.
That's what they said.
I think Mangalam Aunty has unmuted. You want to share? Go ahead.
I just wanted to say that there was a time in my life when I was going through a lot of mental turmoil when my daughter was small. That time I was introduced to this Sai Samiti by one Kalpana who was staying in Kulaba. Okay, at that particular time, I just wanted to have some mental relief, and I started attending the classes, and my daughter had started attending the Balvikas class. But then one thing I found that whenever I had too much of problems, just thinking about him, at least I had the mental courage to face the calamities or to face the problems. It's not that my problems vanished like a magic or something like that. So that way, that was the beginning for me. And when my daughter really felt very sick, that time also, I really prayed to him that she should come back to her life. And of course, he was very kind enough to bring her back to life. And to be very frank with you, whatever she has undergone and whatever today she is leading a marital life with a lot of her health problem, but even then that she could come out of that health problems and she became a mother. That is another grace which Baba has really granted to her. And of course, my health also, when I took a backseat regarding my health, when I underwent chemotherapy and all, every time before my chemo, I used to go to Sundaram auntie's place in Parel. That time they were staying over there. Just do a namaskaram and then go and get my blood test done and go in for a chemotherapy. I could really remain very calm during my treatment because I had a feeling that somebody is there behind me. I just prayed that whatever it may be, my daughter is still small. Till the time I really settle her down in my life, Baba should really grant me the mental power and the health and everything which he granted all this. And regarding after her son was born and all, I had again had certain problems. But I do not know whether it is my imagination or what it is. For the last probably 10 days or so, I was traveling to Chennai and I used to pray to Baba that, see, you are everything to me. Just take care of the house, take care of everybody. Only that much I pray to him. I get a feeling that he is just hugging my grandson and telling me, you don't worry, I will take care of him. That is the feeling. Whenever I pray very intensely, I'm getting that feeling within me. And I feel that a day will come when things will definitely turn out to be for the betterment. With that faith in me, I go along. And the last point that I would mention here is before that, whenever I had problem with my husband's health or whatever it is, I used to become very jittery. I used to become very hysteric. But then a stage came in my life. I said to Baba, okay, whatever has to happen, it will definitely happen. But at least you give me the mental strength and the physical energy to go through the situation and come out, successful. And ultimately, when he really passed away, I was thankful to Baba that at least he did not make him suffer further. That much of solace he gave it to me, and every walk of my life, he has always been there with me. And I know that in my future days also to come ahead, he will definitely stand by me. In whichever way I am destined to live in my life, he will at least give me mental strength. That much I will definitely say, because people normally when they pray, they always feel that the moment I pray, all my problems are going to vanish. No, problems don't vanish. But then at least he gives you the mental strength and the physical stamina to withstand the problems and come out of it successfully. Somebody or the other comes to always help you. That is what I have realized.
I think a very important point you mentioned, Auntie, that, and this is a lesson for all of us because many times we go through a lot of challenges in life. all of us go through different forms of challenges, be it job, be it family, be it career, whatever, money, bank balances, all kinds of challenges we go through. But one thing which Bhagwan keeps saying and has spoken in many forums about this is God will never give us any challenge which we cannot surmount. And secondly, whenever he gives any challenge in our life, he also provides the means to go through it. He will never fail us. In fact, I remember one of the challenges which I was facing. I didn't know what to do. So there was, all of us know, there is a chit box which we used to keep in Dharmakshetra and various Swami centers. We have got chit box, and it was a decision which I needed to take. I didn't know what to do, and I was in dilemma that yes or no, whether it will be possible, whether I'll be able to get through this. And I just, out of blue, I said, "Chalo, let's go to that box and see what Bhagwan has to say." And I picked the chit randomly, and the message was very clear. He just said, "Come what may, I'll never fail you." And it just came as an important reminder, when you said this, that whenever Bhagwan pushes a challenge to us, he gives a means to go through, and he will ensure that, we have all the strength and energy to surmount it. And that's why at no point in time, whenever we face any problems, we need to have that faith that when we have God with us, we will get through it very, very comfortably. The only difference is sometimes when the faith totters, that time the doubts come through, and then whether it'll be, and that actually breaks the confidence in our mind. The problem is the mind weakens itself by having the doubts whether God will, Swami or God will really take care of us. Do I really be able to get through this, or probably I'll crumble in this pressure? But once we have that faith, the mind also strengthens itself. I have got Bhagwan, and I don't need to worry that how this challenge will come through. So that's a good reminder for all of us that that's a blessing. Again, going back to what Auntie said, Parveen Auntie said, the greatest blessings that we have got is God in our life. And once you have a God in our life, then we don't have to worry. Any challenges may come and go, but we have the best person to deal with it.
Sort of connected to that, right? So with respect to having God in our life, it's also, they say, result of all the karmas that we have done over the birth. So it's there. That's the blessing. But I also think, sort of connected to that, final point is having the inclination or other desire to have God or godliness, God-related activities in our life. Very related. That's why I want to bring this up, is I think a blessing, because a lot of us are born into families which are, which have that kind of an environment. We get various opportunities at different points of time, but to be able to benefit out of that, it doesn't happen to everybody. So I think to have that sort of a blessing is really special. So, and I think most of us here, maybe all of us, I can say, have that. But yeah. Well, thanks for sharing, Auntie, again. But yeah, anybody else, if you had prepared something, we'll probably give it another minute to see if you all have something. Otherwise, I have another idea in mind. So that
I guess few of them would have prepared.
Yeah. Otherwise, what we can do is, what I'm thinking is, we can just go around the screen like this, Siddharth, right? And not call it for a list, but I think everybody, even like for the last half an hour, right, we have thought about it. So maybe let's give it a thought as to what is the greatest blessing. I mean, we spoke about having Swami in our life. So maybe putting that aside, or maybe if you want to speak something else related to that, but maybe if we can all share one biggest thing that we feel really, really, a huge sense of gratitude for, that will be really helpful for the group here to see, what is inspiring everybody here, what is keeping us motivated to go on, right? What is that blessing that we think of? So yes, Auntie, please.
Hi, Ram.
Saira.
I think the biggest blessing has been actually my parents, who got me to Swami at a very, very young age when I didn't know anything. And that time, our seva with Bhagwan used to be that, the ashram was being built, there was only mud. So we used to carry mud from here to there. That's what the children would do. And Swami would come and stand in front of us and bless us all. So I think that. But actually, the biggest blessing is to have Bhagwan, to have come to know him, and uh, at the cost of sounding very dramatic, actually, my life is his. Not a single breath is my own. And the reason for this is that there have been 5-6 times when Bhagwan has saved me from dying, actually. Quite dramatic it was. So when I was a very small child, INS Vikrant, we were staying in Bombay, and INS Vikrant had just been commissioned. And we had a friend in the Navy, and he was senior, and we went to see it. And I just ran off the airstrip, and I was falling into the water. I fell into the water. But this gentleman, being what he is, he had the presence of mind, and he just caught my hand and he pulled me back on board. Otherwise, I would have fallen from the top to the bottom, and then there would have been nothing. It was dark, it was night time, and nothing could have happened. And then with my second child, actually, I almost went into coma. My blood pressure and all my parameters, I lost that child. That child, fetus was compromised. And they told me that my various organs are starting to fail. And somehow the blood pressure has to come in control. They said there's no reason why it should be like this. So then again, it was only divine grace, that I survived. And then another incident that stands out was that there was a life-threatening attack, and my throat was held, and I was just not able to breathe anymore, and I had just lost it. So somehow sense prevailed in the attacker, and they let go, and then I was able to kind of do something by way of protecting myself. So actually, not I owe my every single breath to Bhagwan. My daughter Neha, she's a very premature child, so premature that she's virtually end 6 months baby. And she was so tiny that they were not able to do anything at all to help her, but she was very healthy. And there was nobody with me when she was born, actually. I just went on my own, and there was just a Ma ki photo, and I told Ma, whatever it is, it's up to you. The baby is coming out very early. It's up to you. And somehow, with Bhagwan's grace, she was okay. Then it is actually my family that I would like to speak of. I've been through virtually to hell and back, and may not have talked about this with too many people, but my mother has been the epitome of love and wisdom and strength. There was a very fine line between sanity and insanity at that point. And my mother, my father, my brother, my daughter, they were all standing there along with some exceedingly special friends, a few of them. And they were standing there, they just wouldn't let me cross over. I mean, from sanity to insanity, that journey, they stopped it. And for which I'm very grateful to Bhagwan that I had all these wonderful people in my life. I mean, jitna bole, utna hi kam hai. My daughter itself, I mean, the challenge was a severe allergic condition, and every year the doctor said she'll be better, she'll be fine. It never happened. Ultimately, I was sitting in Puttaparthi with my daughter, and I was crying. I said, Bhagwan, now I give it to you. I give her to you. And when she was in the 7th class, she herself almost went into coma. It was a very scary time, and I didn't have much support at all. And somehow, with Bhagwan's grace, she came out of that. And then today, every day's education used to be a challenge. Every day, school used to call me and say, please take your daughter back home. Please, can you please come and pick her up? I've changed some of the best schools, but I never got any support. And to the extent that I had to write to Abdul Kalam ji and tell him that there was severe discrimination and for no reason of hers. And he was ready to go against the school. Then the other blessing was, and it comes to mind, was that when the Mumbai floods were there, my daughter was caught in school. So I drive the car and I got a call and I jumped into the car. And exactly from where I was going, the barns burst. And the car was, the water came into the car almost to my chest. And of course, I mean, you know, at that point, the driver was driving and I was sitting behind. So I thought I would swim to her school because I knew that, you know, she wouldn't have boarded the school bus because we were going to see a friend in hospital who was very unwell. So at that point, he's a new guy. I hardly knew him. He looks at me and says, "Madam, मैं चल सकता हूँ, आप short हैं, आपको तैरना पड़ेगा." I said, "हाँ, मैं तैर लूँगी माता." तो he said, "नहीं, आप ऐसा करिए, आप गाड़ी लेके घर जाइए, मैं लेके आता हूँ." And I don't know what made me trust a total stranger. Huh? And he went to her school. I believe he dragged her all the way on the linking road parapet. And the minute he would leave her hand, she was just going away, you know. And somehow, like my husband was stuck in office, and I said, I got into the car, I was driving back, there was water up to my neck. And I just started noticing that my autocop is going up and down. So I said, no, I think I should get out of the car. I pulled it to the side, I got out, and there were some books at the back which were wet. So I wanted to take them out. I couldn't get into the car again. The electrical system had completely failed. So 1 second more, had I not made that decision to get out, and it is all Bhagwan's doing. Not one of those things was something, I don't have that much intelligence or that much capability to even think, abhi aisa, abhi kaisa, and you know, there was swirling water around me. There were people running, people floating. It was a very difficult time. Then another thing was, Bhagwan somehow has given me, has blessed me with the grace to do seva, which I'm eternally grateful to him. And on one such occasion, I was in Prashanti Nilayam when Bhagwan was in hospital. And at that time, there was this gentleman who used to make Bhagwan's statues, Vigraha. And he was the only one who was blessed to make it. So Bhagwan told him, there is this girl who's going to come to you and she is going to ask for the golden statue, gold plated. So you give her the golden statue. She cannot pay much, but you will give it to her nonetheless. How much ever she is able to give, you will accept. And it so happened that I did meet up this gentleman. And he said, yeah, you know what, I was expecting you. Bhagwan told me you're coming. Okay, fine. I said, boss, I can't pay more than this. Fine. I gave all the money. And then Bhagwan, at that point, was going to leave his physical frame. So this gentleman was very close to Bhagwan. He visited the hospital and came back. And when we were sitting in silence, just absorbing Bhagwan's vibrations, which he had got back from the hospital, he just said, Bhagwan has sent something for you all. There were a few other ladies and myself. So he said, just open the drawer. And when we opened the drawer, there was a coral piece for each of us. As many as we were, as so many coral pieces had come. And there was kumkum for us. And Bhagwan told him, there are these 3 ladies. There were 3 of us. We didn't know each other. We got to know each other well during Seva. He said, I am leaving my physical frame, but you have to take care of them for always. And he left that responsibility onto this person. And then I thought, अरे मैंने पैसे तो दे दिए, मैं इनको जानती नहीं हूँ. And I had all these doubts. Then I get a call. And I said, I have to be there when Swami's Abhishekam is done and all that in Puttaparthi. So I got a call saying, Bhagwan says that you all are Vishnu devotees. So he wants the prayers to be done according to Lord Vishnu. तो मेरे मुंह से गलती से निकल गया, अरे नहीं नहीं नहीं, it's okay, हम शिव जी में भी believe करते हैं. So Bhagwan changed all that. Then Shiv Ji's puja was done. Then he said, this girl wants me to come on her birthday. So this is how the prayer will be done. This is the bus number. I will be packed in this crate along with flowers. Tell her to come with garlands to receive me at the bus stop and tell her to take me home and do bhajan immediately. So that's how Bhagwan came to my home on my birthday. And I just had this wish ki Bhagwan aaye, and he came home. And now I'd like to say that I have received unconditional love from family. To my daughter has been the most amazing human being. She struggled to one day was a struggle for her. And today, with Bhagwan's grace and only his grace, she's doing her MS counseling and will go on to do her PhD. And she got admission. Only 20 seats are there all over the world for that course. And she was able to secure, and she came highly recommended by her interviewers. And she, with Bhagwan's grace, she's doing very well. My brother, no matter what, has stood beside me, my parents. But then there have been some incredibly special friends. I will not take any names here. At the time when I was at the lowest point in my life, they stood behind me like pillars of strength. They even put aside their family, but they would not let me go under, you know. They just stood there, rock solid, you know. They gave me their love, they gave me their time, they gave me their patience, they gave me their understanding. I must say, especially my family, I became very frustrated. I was quite a demon. I was quite difficult to deal with. But they had the patience, and there's so many things. Talking about Bhagwan, I guess I just say that my life is his. I'm trying to think कि मैं क्या ऐसा कर सकती हूँ कि मैं भगवान के और पास पहुंच जाऊं और भगवान खुश हो जाए. I mean, you know, I don't have any other aim. I don't have any other purpose. I don't have anything else in my life save Bhagwan. And I'm exceedingly grateful to all the wonderful people who have been a part of this journey, who've given me their time and their love and their understanding. So, yeah, thanks a lot, yeah. That's all I wanted to say, Saira.
Sairam, I think it's good to remember all the important moments and the blessings that we have got, and a heart filled with love for Bhagwan is always the best heart to have. And if you have that, in that case, it's a great blessing itself, that you've got. So, but very grateful to you for sharing your, very openly sharing your experiences and what you went through. And we pray that Bhagwan be always with you under all circumstances. In fact, he's always with us. The only difference is there are episodes when we immediately connect with him and we realize that he's around us. So, but very nice. Thank you for sharing your experiences. And we are nearing 7:20. So what we can do, since we have a few things to quickly cover, I'm assuming most of the other guys have either written or not written. Maybe if it is written, fantastic. If it is not written, the list, we must make an attempt to write. It is important for us. Why it is important, I'll just share in a few minutes. But before that, since I'm talking about list, I thought let me share my list. Otherwise, I'll be failing in my duty just to give gyan and not to implement what we are discussing. So very quickly, some of the important aspects which came in my life. Okay, obviously Swami stands number one there. Presence of God and Guru in life. I think that is the biggest biggest blessings ever. Now, then, past, present, future, across. So Swami stands number one. Number two is family, definitely, because my parents, I'm born in a Sai family, so probably that's one of the biggest blessings. I consider that, and again, there is a Swami connection there, because unless his will is there, you can't be born in a Sai family. So again, Bhagwan had a big role to play, how I came into Sai family. But that's a family, especially parents. Parents have been very, very, very pious souls, and something good I would have done in the past life, that I've got the parents of this kind of background, who are very devout to Bhagwan. Then third aspect, and probably a very important one, who was again brought in my life by Swami himself, is Balvika's Guru. And since some of us are here as Balvika's Gurus, I think that my Balvika's Guru is no more in the world today, and she had got an excellent exit from the world, probably a dream death that we can think of. Some other day I'll share that experience, but for want of time. But she was the one who constantly inspired, and she actually charted the path, saying that you need to become Sai student soon. So when I was at the age of 10 or 11, when I joined her in Balvikas, and then she was constantly telling me that you have to go to Parthi, and she actually instilled those seeds because of which I could reach Parthi. And there are very many factors, but she was a very, very important person who, and I'm grateful to Bhagwan again to bringing her in my life and shaping the formative years that I had. Another important blessing that I've got is a good body, a good health with all the organs intact till now, a good intellect, good mind. There are no challenges there, fortunately, because a lot of people, when you look at, people have some issue or the other, health issues or psychological issues or some issues or the other. Fortunately, His grace that both hands, legs, everything is intact as of now, and because of which we are able to do a lot of things in life, be it satsang or bhajans or Narayan Seva or whatever we call it, because of the good body and the mind which Bhagwan has endowed with. So I'm grateful to my own body, because of which the body is cooperating with me despite all kinds of difficulties I throw at it. But good health is a very important blessing which I could list out. Good health and good mind, so both go together. And then we have a good house. I've got a good house to stay. I've got clothes to wear. I've got good food to eat. I'm not on the road struggling to find where my next morsel of food will come. I think that's an important blessing which I thought I can't take it for granted. That just because we are born in a good house, so if, everything is mine. No, God can decide anytime He can take it out, and then I'll be on the road. So that's why, and as Bhagwan says, never take things for granted. So good house, good food, good clothes. I think this is a rare blessing. I have put it out for myself, that I've got a good house to stay and good food to eat. Then obviously, I think most critical one is a good education. And good education plus Prashanti Nilayam education. So that's a Sonepe Suhaga types. But I think education per se, again, it's a rare thing. It's not everybody's blessed with education. So getting an education which makes us think practically, makes us be productive into the world. It helps us to help people. It helps us to get a good job. It helps us to think much larger for the nation, for the community. So unless I'm well qualified or well educated in now, not in terms of training, but education. So education, as Swami says, educare, what is from within. And that kind of education which makes us useful to the society. So I think education also is one of the list, items in my list where as a blessing it has come to me. And there are very many, but for want of time, one more important blessing which I have listed out is the 5 elements and the sun god. I think without 5 elements and sun god, we can't survive, because the air that we get, the oxygen, moment you go out in the space outside the atmosphere, you can't breathe. So air, oxygen, pick up any of the earth that we walk, the sun, which is endowing that powerful blessings, because of which again we get energy. So all the 5 elements, sun, moon, earth, sky, water. Without water, we can't survive. God has blessed us with water to drink. All these helps us to sustain again. So without any of these elements today are taken away, then we will not be in a position to survive. So, each of these 5 elements, and the sun god, the moon god, all those people, I've consciously personified them. That's why I say people, because otherwise it will be difficult for me to relate. But they are the people who are around, who are constantly sustaining this body. So one is the gratitude to this body, and gratitude to all those elements who are constantly sustaining this body, so that I can do some karmas. I am able to get my past karmas also wound up, and also ensure that I do some good karmas, hopefully, which can, act as a seva or whatever it is. But if these guys are not around, the 5 elements are not around, if this body is in not in good shape, if I'm not well educated, and over and above all, if Bhagwan is not in part of this life, then none of these are possible. So these are extraordinary blessings. I will not say blessing, they're extraordinary blessing, which Bhagwan has kind of alerted me that, you should be grateful to all of these people, because of which it's like, because of them you're sustaining. They can sustain without me, but I cannot sustain without them. So these are some of the points which I could list out. There are very many still, but I just thought I'll maybe share this out with everybody. So some of you have already mentioned that Bhagwan is an house and education. So I just thought some of the other elements which are uncommon is what I thought of mentioning here. See, why this exercise was important for us is many times we do go through problems in our life, as we discussed. There are challenges, there are problems, there are difficulties. And as part of our karmas, we have had 3-4 sessions on karmas and all that is done. But this kind of a list, acts as a reminder that how blessed we are. It gives us the mental strength. It gives us the confidence. It gives us the faith that, we are not down and out. We are still there. And there are lots of good things that are happening to us all the time. And for those who have written, you can refine the list in case you have missed out. For those who have not written, I would insist that please do write it. And just like morning prayers that we do after Bhatt, just read this every morning. Make it a habit of reading every morning this list of blessings that you have got. I can bet you your day will go superb. In case there are challenges, it will be very easy to surmount, because a grateful heart and grateful mind is a big strength that we have got. We need to nurture that habit of being grateful. And attitude of gratitude is one of the very important qualities which Bhagwan has always spoken about. Okay, and Swami used to say ingratitude is the worst sin. At least to boys, he has mentioned so many times, ingratitude is the worst sin to do. So the opposite is gratitude is the best thing to do. And with gratitude, obviously, we need to know why we should be grateful for what. And that's why these kind of blessings, when we start counting, that I'm blessed with so many things, means I'm definitely, not down and out in life, but I've got all the strength to surmount anything that comes to me. And and that kind of gratitude also helps us to bring surrender automatically. As we had mentioned in the past, maybe we can take, a surrender as a topic subsequently in future. But surrender is not doing, but it's not a verb, it's a noun. Surrender happens to us once we start realizing that how much God has done for us, how much he keeps doing without asking. Also many times he keeps doing. So that grateful heart automatically then, becomes a surrendered mind at his lotus feet. And then obviously magic happens in our life, as we had discussed. Again, going by the topic of moving out from the living room to kitchen, that's a journey. And one of the milestones on the journey is having a grateful heart. And through this kind of list of blessings, we are in a position to have that grateful heart which is required. And before we sum up, there are 2 things, and then I will hand over to Ashutosh. Or let me read out Swami's message. I put it on WhatsApp already. Maybe you guys can refer to it, and maybe, or I'll read it out. This was yesterday's Bhagwan's message, April 30th. And the 5 elements, 5 points which Bhagwan has given, 5 requisites for developing true devotion. And the second point in that is devotion should be regarded as an expression of gratitude to all that one receives from providence. Okay, I'm just quoting Bhagwan's message as it is. And what are those? 1, air that we breathe, light and heat we get from the sun, the water we drink, and the food we consume. All essential necessities of life are got by the grace of God. The expression of gratitude through devotion is a primary obligation. They're very strong words from Bhagwan. It's an obligation. You don't have a choice. All that is done by the way of bhajans, japa, meditation, and prayer must be done in the spirit of gratitude. So there are 5 points. This is the number 2 point, which is related to our topic. And there is other point, discipline and discrimination and determination and other aspects we can read separately. But our topic relates to this particular message of Bhagavan, and it's Swami said it's an obligation, primary obligation, not even secondary or tertiary. It's a primary obligation we need to have. So that's why this gives a good context to why this topic we chose and why we wanted to discuss this. And one last piece. I think probably I would have spoken about this in one of the sessions, but just repeating it here because it's an important part of the topic itself. Is there are 5 things which are happening to our life currently. Okay, 5 things if they are happening to us in this current life. Okay, I'll repeat it 2-3 times because this is probably one of the most powerful message I've received in last couple of years, which I keep reminding myself again as a blessing. There are 5 things which are happening to us in our current life. Okay, some of you have notebooks, do write it out, or as do watch the recording because this is extremely important. You may forget everything else, but if you don't forget these 5 things, you've got it done. 5 things if they're happening to us in this current life, then be rest assured, all the good effect of good karmas, all the merits of all the past lives that we have led before this life, they are currently in existence. The fruits of all the good karmas of all the past lives are currently in this life, which is in existence, which you are reaping the benefit of. If you have got these 5 things in our life happening parallelly right now in this life. Okay, what are those 5 things? Number 1, that you are born as a human being. Okay, it's not a small thing. It's a very, very big blessings. You're born as a human being, and Swami also has quoted Shastras also many times that Jantu Nam Narajanma Durlabham. Among all the species of 84 lakh species that we have, that science tells us, human birth is the rarest blessing. Okay, and why it is so? Because through human birth you can get liberation. We cannot get liberation from any other body that we endow with. Okay, even devas and devtas and gandharvas, as Indian scriptures or Hindu scriptures talk about, they also have to come back to the human birth to achieve liberation. So liberation ka darwaza is through the human birth. And if you have got this, that means you are so close to liberation, isn't it? The first blessing is born as a human being. Okay, blessing. That's why I'm repeating. The first blessing is born as a human being. Second blessing is that our mind is showing tremendous interest in God. Our mind is showing tremendous interest in God. Right? It's not easy. Not many minds are showing interest in God, but our mind is showing that interest in God. That means the evolution of mind has happened and it is reaching that stage that it wants God. Whatever God it can be. It can be pick up any Jesus, Allah, Sai Baba, Shirdi Sai Baba, or any God we can think of. But showing interest in divinity, that's a second. So it's a very special mind. It's again not an ordinary mind. It is happening to us. That means all the good karmas of past lives are currently in existence. It is showing an effect. So the mind has reached that level, it is showing interest in God. Third blessing, if you have got, is we are born at a time when a divine master is present in physical form. Okay, right now it's easy for us to relate to Bhagavan because we were born at a time when Swami was in physical form. If you are born at a time when Prophet Muhammad was in physical form, we are born at a time when Lord Jesus Christ was in physical form, we are born at a time when Lord Mahavira was in physical form, or Buddha, all those are same. Okay, so simple thing is, if we are born at a time when, at the same time when the divine master is physically present on earth. Okay, the timing of a birth, again, it's a blessing. It's not ordinary thing. Okay, that's number 3. Number 4, we come to know about a divine master. See, number 3, lot of entire 7 billion population is there currently. They are all qualified because they are all at a time, born at a time when the divine master was present. But how many of them have come to know about him? So that's a 4th blessing. Because unless the divine master's will is there, we cannot even come to know about him. And number 5 is we get to be closer to him, being nearer, dearer to him In different words, we can say darshan, sparshan, sambhashan, nearer, dearer, closer. We get to see him, we get to be closer to him, we are able to come to in his ambit, where he's around. So fourth is coming to know, and fifth is you're reaching closer to him. So if you have all these 5 things are happening at the same time in this birth, be rest assured, all the good karmas of all the past life, the fruits that are there, the rich fruits of good karmas that we have done, they are currently in existence in this life. You can imagine that, if we make a list of whether we have all those 5 or 4 or 3 or whatever, if you got most of us, I'm assuming has 5 out of 5, then how this life itself is a big blessing. To be born in this human birth at this time when our mind is, inching towards divinity, showing interest towards divinity. It has born at a time when Swami physically was present. There are a lot of people have come across who said we were born much later and we never knew Swami was around. We came to know about him, but we were not born at a time. So all those 5 aspects that are happening, into our life is at the same time. It's the rarest blessings that we have got. This life itself is the biggest blessing that we have got, with all these 5 things happening to us. The next question is, so what? We can pat our backs and say, very good, congratulations, you have done good karmas, so you got these benefits. But what next? So it's important to use this life for the next level, to reach to the next level, and which is obviously, we can call it nirvana, self-realization, purity, achieving divinity, becoming one with Swami, whatever different names we can give to that path. But that is where using this blessing of this 5 things happening to us, how can we work towards that? Now, thing is, if you don't work towards it and we slip on that path, be rest assured the next life will begin with a 0 balance in our account, because all the credit balance is being used right now. Okay, sometimes Bhagwan's grace, sometimes overdraft also happens because he is around. But what happens the next life, we start with 0 if you have used up everything. So it becomes even more critical for us to ensure that this life becomes a very, very, very important blessing for us. And whatever life is left with us, ensure that we are in a position to reach that state. And we again discussed about this. The best way to reach that is developing relationship with God. Okay, we had that topic, I think, a couple of sessions back. Developing relationship with God, very, very important, because this is a permanent relationship. Okay, we may die tomorrow morning, but having developed that connection with Swami, next birth we'll start back from where we have left in this life, because relationship with God is permanent. So developing relationship with God in this birth, having got that chance to be nearer and dearer to him, having got chance to know about him, and having all these 5 things in place is the best way to utilize this blessing of life of being close to Bhagwan. So all said and done, to conclude, think about these areas, think about these topics, think about how we can develop. Each one of us has a personal relationship. It's not a public relationship. It's a very private, personal relationship. You may look at him as a brother. You can look at him as a husband, the way Meera looked at Krishna. You can look at him as a son. You can call him as a friend. You can call him as a father, whatever. Some relationship we are in a position to develop, that needs to be focused on. Okay, some may call him Guru also, whichever way, different form. But that's a very intimate, personal, private relationship we need to develop with him. And that's the most important, best way which we can utilize the blessing of this life that we have got today. Okay, so I just thought maybe we'll share this, and that's why this topic is so critical for us. And we need to write it out, all the blessings, and take it every morning after bath. Just read out. It will take hardly 1 minute or so, but it acts into our subconscious mind. Again, we discussed a lot about subconscious mind, the hard disk that we have got. It feeds into the subconscious mind, and eventually it really comes to our help when we need it most. Okay, so that's what I thought I'll share, and hope it was useful to everyone. Over to you, Ashutosh.
Oh yeah, excellent. I think there's nothing a lot to say after that. The only thing I'd say is, yes, that's why we chose this topic. This is a very simple to do, very, very mechanical thing, but it helps us immensely. So let us try and sort of do that, and it has tremendous benefits. So hopefully hum sab is pe kuch kar payenge. And maybe what I thought is we can end with a very nice video. I saw it's a 2-minute video to a 3-minute video, and then we can conclude with Samastu Loka. It sort of sums up some of the things that you've discussed with some good music, and also it has that effect. So I'll quickly share that video with us. Let me know if you can see my screen. Can you?
Yes, we can.
Okay, I'll play the audio also. If the audio is not coming, just let me know. Otherwise, I'll just keep it going. Okay, sorry for that.
I think audio has not come as it.
Audio is not
It
coming.
doesn't-
Maybe when you reshare, no, there is an option there. Tick the box of audio.
When I say new share, is it?
No, unshare it and reshare it. When you reshare it, before it
Okay.
goes up, yeah, you get an option to play the music or something like that. Some box will come, check box.
Oh, share sound. I did not know of this. This is interesting. Okay. There we go. All right.
Gratitude and giving thanks is really one of the most powerful things you can practice every day if you are committed to achieving anything in life. It's no secret almost all truly successful people talk about the power of gratitude. It's that feeling of being blessed. It's getting grateful with those things you do already have that attract more great things into your life and really just give you the drive to get more, to go out and work for more. When I write down what I'm grateful for, it's always for the things money can't buy. You know, thank you for my drive. Thank you for my mental strength. Thank you for giving me the courage not to give up all those times when it seemed impossible, when I know 99% of the people would have given up. Thank you for giving me that strength. Thank you for the character to keep going for months, for years and years without any progress until I turned it around. Thank you for my health. Thank you for my family. You see, these are my real blessings. Money is easy. It's easy to make. It's easy to spend. And when it comes to the end, we can't take any of it with us. Let's make truckloads of it, but let's not stress over it. Thanks for giving me that fire, that mentality to go out and get my dreams. I conquer my goals. I see so many people void of life, void of spirit. So many people that give up and live lives that they don't want to be in just because it's easy. And I'm so grateful that will never be me. I'm convinced one of my greatest secrets to success is that I am always insanely grateful for what I do have. Be grateful for what you have now, and you will soon have more to be grateful for. When I start my day off writing all those things I am grateful for every day, my day starts with power, with pure positive power. Then I'm ready to smash the day, to seize opportunities. My mind is clear and positive, and that energy is so valuable to my creativity and my future success. If there is one thing that I could recommend to all those seeking success, get grateful.
So yeah, I just thought it sort of summed up very nicely. And the most important point is to do that every day, day in, day out. And try and make it a habit. So I'm going to try that myself.
Very
I
nice.
wasn't doing it so far, but just thought of sharing that. Yeah. Thank you.
I think it's a very, very important. I think even keeping aside the spiritual aspect, I think the video brought that important point that anything we want to achieve success, I think a grateful mind is very, very productive, very fertile mind, a grateful mind, which can bring tremendous ideas, innovations, and different ways of things, doing it. So I think a very apt video. Thanks, Ashutosh, for sharing.
No, hopefully this session has given us all a breadth of things to be grateful for. That was the whole idea of coming together as a team so that we can think of different things and then, try and see what makes best sense for us. Hopefully that's helped all of us. But yeah, I think we've already short time by a lot today. So unless there is something burning that anybody wants to share, we'll probably close with Samastaloka then. All right. Thank you, everybody. And I think thanks for everybody for sharing your comments on the chat box also. We do read that, but time was not there to speak it out in the session today, but thank you. Sai Ram. Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu. Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu. Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Thanks everyone. Sai Ram.
Sai Ram, everyone. Thank you.
Sai Ram.
Sai Ram.
Sai Ram.
Sai Ram.
Sai Ram, Sai Ram.
कैसे हो आप आंटी?
You can stop the recording first.
हाँ जी.